What is going on, everyone? My name's Matt, and you're listening to Heavy Metal Melee, the podcast where three friends and metalheads discuss the latest in metal news as well as our favorite albums. For our first episode, we'll be discussing two popular albums from the year 1984. It's Iron Maiden's Powerslave versus Metallica's Ride the Lightning. Let's get into it.
So we're going to talk about Iron Maiden's Powerslave, and we're going to talk about Metallica's Ride the Lightning. And then we're all going to vote on which one we preferred listening to this week. Not right. Overall, not forever. Like, this is not like a definitive Iron Maiden Metallica.
No, this is definitive. We're finally going to tell everyone which of these albums is better, because our opinion matters more than anyone else's.
And you can't tell us otherwise.
That's true. Yeah. Well, my opinion doesn't matter, but obviously Matt Fox's opinion doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. he's the rock star, so he knows what he's talking about.
Wait, is there a significance as to why we chose these two albums?
They came out the same year, 1984.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's good enough, wasn't it? And also...
I think these are the two best albums from both of these bands.
Wow.
Hot takes. Get your hot takes.
Yep.
Not much of a hot take, really. It's just kind of like most of everyone's opinions, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I would have to listen again. Like maybe we'll get around to some of the other Metallica albums in the future.
I'm sure we will.
I was about to say you have to listen to these two again.
No.
Listen to them quite often this week.
Trust me, I have listened to these two albums enough for a fucking lifetime.
I was about to say, like, however much money these two make for each playthrough they get, they've made a lot off of us.
Can we all agree these are the two biggest metal bands of all time?
Yes, definitely. I would say most influential. Influential, yes.
Definitely up there. I mean, there are other names that we could mention, like Black Sabbath, which a lot of people would say.
That's true.
I would say Black Sabbath.
I wouldn't agree. I love Black Sabbath, but they're not. I really like the Dio Black Sabbath stuff, not so much the Ozzy.
But do you think they are a metal band though, Black Sabbath? Right?
Yeah, they are. But
it's like the birth of metal, really.
Yeah.
They're pretty much like where every metal band says that.
But
that's what I got my influence from. And then
right. Not everyone.
Not everyone. Well, most people. But after them, they would say that Metallica and Iron Maiden was what.
They're definitely up there. For Black Sabbath, this isn't a Black Sabbath episode, but I want to give my take anyways. I do feel like they're a bit overrated. Sorry. But there were other bands at the time, like Deep Purple, who were more influential to certain metal styles, and I would argue for both Iron Maiden and Metallica. Like the type of really fast, like classically inspired stuff, like
I think
power metal.
I totally agree. Musically, I agree. I think what Black Sabbath brought to it was the darkness and the
exactly. I would agree with that.
So like, I mean, fucking like the whole genre of doom metal, right? Is Black Sabbath
absolutely?
Like honestly, like okay, we're gonna get a load of shit doing this podcast, by the way. Because
I'm sure.
Like for me, doom metal, I haven't fully explored it. I admit, I confess to that. But I'm just like, whenever I hear a doom band, I listen to like one or two songs and I'm like, okay, I mean, I got all I needed of that kind of style from Black Sabbath. Like,
yeah,
they nailed it. Like, there was nothing more to say.
Right.
Well, it's more of like the theme about it, like the darkness and making it like you said, evil.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I might say Black Sabbath is overrated, but that's only because like they're like everyone loves them so much. Like they're a great band.
To say that they're bad.
No, they're a great band. So I just want to put that out there.
Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
He's not saying that they're bad. He's just saying they're a little overrated.
Exactly.
So I don't know the numbers or anything, but I'm certain that Metallica were bigger commercially than Black Sabbath.
Metallica is by far the biggest metal band ever, as far as sales go.
Definitely.
There's no debate. There can't be a debate. Like Iron Maiden, listen, I think if you were gonna do a survey of metalheads, they are the most agreeable band of any metal band.
Yeah.
Right? Not everyone. I have met people who don't like Iron Maiden.
Well,
most people.
The thing with Metallica, like their fans are very. I mean, I'm a Metallica fan, but like they have opinions about certain Metallica albums, mostly the ones like Black Album and later, that they kind of sold out, which I don't necessarily agree with, but I do feel like they became more commercial, while Iron Maiden never really tried to do that.
They definitely lost their identity a little bit later on to what brought the original fans to like them so much.
Yeah.
After Black, I think Black Album was great, but
I do too.
They started dropping.
It's not an amazing album, but it's a great album. I feel like the second half is kind of.
I mean, when we get into our Ride the Lightning section, there was like the Black Album is great. I agree with both of you. The Black Album is a great album, but when you compare to Ride the Lightning, the style
not even close.
It's definitely different.
Yeah.
Prefer one or the other, that's fine, but they are different.
Black Album came out like 1994 or something like that. It was like
early, isn't it?
Earlier.
Like I think it was 92.
Yeah.
92. So it's like almost a whole decade after.
But also, I totally agree, Matt. I don't think they sold out. I think they did exactly what they wanted to do. Like, to me,
became world-renowned superstars.
Well,
but they changed their style, and people consider that selling out, which I don't agree with. But
I mean, let's be honest. Metallica, Lars is an asshole, right? Like they don't lend themselves to being likable in terms of their personalities and the way they, that like. Did you see that documentary movie they made, Some Kind of Monster? When they were recording Saint Anger, it's like. It literally was like Spinal Tap Part 2 points. Like it was like beyond.
He left the band.
Yeah, it was stupid. But
like a reality TV show.
I still kind of love them in a way. Like they're goofy. They're stupid. They're whatever. Obviously James Hetfield had a lot of problems with alcoholism. He was in rehab, in and out.
Yes, Corey takes us.
Yeah.
It's what you could be enjoying, James.
I see no problem. You do you, boo.
Yeah, but I will say the hate against them. I think it's because the fans got burned by the change of style. Like the more you love something and it changes, it hurts you more, right?
Yeah, definitely. Especially considering like the trend that Metallica was going at the time. Like they were getting, well, arguably people would say they were getting better when it came up with like Master of Puppets and One for All or Justice for All.
Yeah.
Like it's fantastic fucking albums. And then they come out with the Black Album, which obviously catered a little bit more to more casual people.
It was a bit of a left turn. Like it felt like they were kind of going upwards until Justice, and then like they tried to do something different with Black Album.
It's because they were trying to reach out to an audience that normally didn't listen to them. Like,
and they did it. Like
we're gonna get. I think they did with the Black Album.
Oh, absolutely! Like that's when they became the biggest metal band on the planet.
Like fucking Enter Sandman's like in every stadium when it comes to like sports, football.
And that's why like okay, people are gonna. Some of us prefer Iron Maiden to Metallica, but some people seem to think like okay, Iron Maiden are the biggest metal band. It's like yes. In terms of pure metal and the fact that they didn't change, they didn't care about being cool, they didn't try and like appeal to the mainstream.
They never had any hit singles.
No, they are the biggest like underground band ever. Like because like you say, they were never radio friendly band. They were never
the closest like hit song was I guess Number of the Beast, right? You would
probably
say.
Or 2 Minutes to Midnight. I was
one of those two, and like. And even those, like,
Trooper.
If you were to ask someone, like, "Hey, do you know this song?" They'd people be like, "No." It's like, "Do you know Enter Sandman?" Oh, that's my fucking jam.
Right, because that was a radio hit.
Exactly. Like
even like the big Iron Maiden songs, I don't think they were radio hits. They were just really popular.
2 Minutes to Midnight was probably the closest one, I think, just because at the time, Number of the Beast was a little bit seen as a controversial song.
Yeah,
so,
that got him a lot of press. Just the fact what it was
did get
about.
A lot of press. Negative or positive,
it's crazy when you see how metal has evolved. Like to think that Number of the Beast was a controversial thing. It's like, Jesus, you ain't seen nothing yet, guys.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ.
Can just imagine like the U.S. Congress like bringing forth like a Swedish death metal band like in full makeup to like to speak to them.
Hey, look, Metalocalypse trying to do that with Death Clock. It's trying to be a worldwide thing.
Yeah. So anyway, Heavy Metal Melee podcast, right? So Did we already explain what the fuck we're doing with
I
this?
don't know. I think so.
We did explain.
We're talking about these two albums. We'll eventually get to
One
it.
of which I have as my background right now, which we're probably going to cover first.
Is that a spoiler for which one you're going to vote for? Or is it
No,
just,
it's definitely not.
it's
Maybe.
definitely not.
Ooh.
Well, maybe that's a
save it for the
spoiler.
podcast. Wait a second. We're at the podcast.
So that's a cover by On Maiden, Powerslave.
Man, Powerslave. Yeah. Everyone here wears Adidas.
It's like a, it's
Like a bunch of Slavics.
it's a Croatian cover band. Right. So my question is, do albums matter anymore?
I don't think so. Just because it seems like most people are willing to just listen to the songs that are most popular from any band or artist versus the actual album that it comes from.
I think they matter to metalheads. Personally.
Probably, maybe the metalheads.
Maybe not people who like pop music, but like metalheads still listen to albums.
Yeah,
But
and
even for me, like I just think that like when you're finding a new band, you want to listen to all their popular stuff, and it's not necessarily going to be on the same album.
I mean, the way that people digest music now is through Spotify and YouTube, right? So hardcore fans of a band will still buy the album. If you're just finding out about a new band for the first time, right? If somebody recommends to you a band or you see a band's playing near you and you're like, okay, I'm going to check this band out. Like back in the day, right? In the 70s, 80s, people would just go to a record store and just like pick it based on the name or the album cover. Like they would have no other information. Word of mouth maybe, but like that was a way that people used to get music. Now no one's fucking doing that, right? Everyone's just gonna go like, okay, I'm gonna go on YouTube, I'm gonna go on Spotify, listen to their most popular songs.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what album they're from. Like if you go on YouTube, if you go on Spotify, and it does that thing where it shows you the most popular songs for a band.
Mm-hmm.
You just go through them. You don't care what album it is, what placement it was in the album, where it was like.
I don't know. That's not me personally, because like I will use it to find new music, but if I like the band, I will generally listen to an album.
I think it is different with metal, because usually with most metal bands, the whole album has its own story, and that one song is part of the overlapping story.
Well, yeah, especially if it's like a concept album.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what, a lot of metal bands do that. Like a lot of metal bands have like the little journeys or something like that, whatever you want to call it. And they have that one song that just like hits different, and everyone likes that song a lot more than the other ones. But the people who are, like you said, getting used to this or getting used to that band, they're just going to listen to the popular ones. Like they don't even give a shit about the ones that came before or after that song.
Yeah. And also it's like, there's so many bands now. There's too much metal. There's no like.
Well, there's so many subgenres.
Too much
of
metal.
There's so many subgenres of metal that like there's one genre that hates that other genre of metal.
No.
Let me rephrase. There's not too much, but there can never be too much metal. Okay, you can have as much metal as humanly possible.
Well, there's such a wide variety of metal.
What I mean is, there's too much metal to physically listen to. Like, if you listen to every
that's fair.
metal that's coming out, there's not enough hours in the day to do that. So you want to be like, okay, I'm going to check out this band. What have they got to offer? I'll go on Spotify. I'll listen to their most popular songs. Does it connect with me? Do I like them songs? Okay, then I'll go and check out the albums and, maybe like buy some of their stuff or whatever. But it's like before that, if I don't connect with the first few songs, I might never look at that band again, which is not fair on the band, because sometimes the most popular songs are a completely different style.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at Metallica's most popular songs, what are they? Nothing Else Matters,
Enter Sandman.
Enter Sandman.
Yeah. Good
songs, but they're not Ride the Lightning.
Sad But True, I think, is up there.
Yeah,
absolutely. And like I'm obviously into the whole like React scene. And it's interesting watching like first time reactors, because they usually go for one of those songs, and then everyone in the comments is like, oh no, and that's not Metallica.
That's not the one you want to go with.
yeah.
And then they always tell them Master of Puppets, and that's when they listen to that, they're like, oh shit.
Because this is fucking Metallica, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's two Metallicas. Like there's this kind of, the Metallica that can sell out stadiums. To be fair to Metallica, they do still play a lot of the old shit when they play a show, which is great. Like that's why I say they're the biggest metal band, because they play to mainstream audiences. Like people go to they played a festival in the UK called Glastonbury, which is like an indie rock. It's anything like Kanye West, whatever. It's like fucking Metallica show up on stage playing like fucking Creeping Death and for whom the bell tolls or whatever. It's cool. It's like it's introducing like these people who would never listen to that shit, but those people don't know those songs. They're only there for the ones that they know, which is just kind of weird. Like I don't even know what you would describe Metallica's style as in like their later stuff. Before they've come back to their thrashy ways a bit.
Pop thrash.
Pop thrash.
Pop thrash. That's something that Dave Mustaine would be like, fuck no.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, they're almost like Nickelback. Some of their songs in some of the albums. I
mean, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
That's a little.
You're gonna make some enemies, man.
I'm telling you, some of those songs, like I listened to Saint Anger again.
I was about to say, if you're talking about Saint Anger was, well, let's be honest, it was dog. It was dog shit, like bad. It was not very good. It was not a very good album, and I think most people would agree it was just not like no one's ever gonna say, dude, you never heard of Metallica? You gotta pick up Saint Anger. Like no one's gonna ever say that.
Check out that snare sound.
Saint Anger.
I mean, yeah, that album was something. Like, obviously, they were going through a lot of problems in the recording of that album. It took 6 years to come out. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it sound like they would fucking.
I mean, okay. To be fair, like I have not heard Saint Anger in so long, so I don't. Have you guys?
But I haven't heard it in years, but it's singed in my head when I.
Okay, because I can't.
I remember thinking this was recorded in a trash can. Like legitimately, it was recorded in a trash can.
Yeah.
It was so.
Well, his drum kit sounded like trash, like literally trash.
Just really bad.
But no, like the production value was good. It was just like they made certain choices that were not good choices in my opinion. But
I think that's everyone's opinion.
Everyone, but maybe Lars.
But I mean, that's Metallica, and you take the good with the bad. It's like that's who they are. That's who they wanted to be. Really, like they wanted to go mainstream, right?
Yeah, but Saint Anger wasn't even like that popular anyway.
Right, and they were already mainstream before that with the Black Album. That's where they hit the mainstream.
They were already made. They could have done just go back to their thrash roots and just start releasing some of those albums, which they did later. But
maybe
that Saint Anger was bad.
Maybe they just lost it then. Like bands do that. That happens. Like,
yeah, they have moments in time where they just fall on their faces. Like it happens. It happens to every band, really. You can't make like just a complete string of perfect albums. I don't know any bands that have really done that.
Well, just to like a bit of balance for me trashing on Metallica so much, they are probably one of my favorite bands of all time.
Yeah, well, same here.
So
definitely,
like that's why it hurts more that they went shit. You know what I mean? It's like,
but it's weird because they were the last thrash of the big four that I got into.
That's so weird. It's really normally weird. The opposite.
It is really strange because the first one I got into was Megadeth. Megadeth was my first one. I was given the Rust in Peace album and I loved it. And then that's when I started exploring. I saw Slayer, got into them. And then I saw a little bit of Anthrax, wasn't that interested.
Yeah, I've never been very interested in Anthrax. I don't know.
Oh, man.
They don't sound anything like the other bands.
They're basically the college version of thrash metal, where it's just like they're mostly punk, but they do have like their metal roots in them.
I mean, Anthrax were from a completely different scene, right? They were a New York band, so like all the other thrash bands were in the Bay Area doing their thing.
Wait, seriously, they were?
Yeah,
I assumed they were Bay Area too.
Nope, they're from like I think it's New York. They're definitely from a different scene. They came from the hardcore punk thing. You can tell with their music.
Yeah, the East Coast was all about punk at the time. Like DC, where I'm from, like it was some really awesome punk bands apparently came out of the area. Although I don't know them because I don't listen to them. But
no.
From what I've heard, like DC was like a hot spot for like punk bands.
I mean, this is Iron Maiden, Metallica, so maybe we don't want to get into the big four too much.
Yeah, we'll save it for another episode.
Save it for the podcast. Right.
This is the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, fine. And this is the thing about this podcast, right? We got 3 very different metalheads on this podcast, I would say.
Yeah, like well, go ahead.
Yeah, me and Corey are a bit more aligned in some of our stuff, but I mean, you come from the kind of prog.
Yeah, I'm a prog guy.
Whereas I came from the thrash scene. Definitely. I mean, I'm not 60 years old, so I wasn't around. But like, one thing I noticed is these are like nostalgia bands for me. I don't know about you guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, they don't really release much albums nowadays, so it's kind of nostalgia, right?
Yeah,
Huh.
but what I'm saying is when we were, nostalgia is associated with your younger years, right? So what was coming out when we were 18?
Oh man, that was the early 2000s, dark time.
When I started getting into it, Slayer just had released "God Hates Us All" on September 11th, and that was a controversial thing that kind of happened during that time.
Well, another thing that happened, Dream Theater released an album on September 11th that had the Twin Towers on the cover, and they were on fire. And it happened, the exact day that,
Bad timing.
That is horrible. Like, they had to pull it.
Immediately. I can imagine Best Buy employees, families like, get out of here.
That's some fucking conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Dream Theater.
Dream Theater is part of the Illuminati. We get it.
Yeah, I mean, metal was in the shit. Let's just be honest now. Like, new metal fans, anyone listening who likes new metal, fine. I have warmed to it. I will say that I
have not. So sorry.
That's fine. I don't blame you. But metal, okay, we won't say it was in a very different place. Let's just leave it at that. It was in a very different place than what was going on in the 80s and 90s. So the fact that, like, when I was 18, I should have been growing up with Linkin Park, Slipknot, Korn, whatever, but I wasn't. I was not. I was into this shit. This is like these albums. I must have like played.
I admit I did listen to a bit of Linkin Park. None of the other ones, but
that's fine.
The first Linkin Park album, everyone was listening to. Like, that was like everywhere.
But the thing is, the first Linkin Park album is actually decent. Like, it's not bad. It's just that their problem, and they did the same thing that all the other bands during that time did, is that everything sounded the fucking same after that album. Like Disturbed, I liked their first album.
I know, you talked about Disturbed all the fucking time.
I know, it was a great first album. But I hated the rest of it.
I don't know if it was great, but this is what I'm saying: is these should be our nostalgia bands, because that was the age.
That was our time. Yeah,
that is when they became a thing. And look, whatever you say, whatever you think about new metal, it was a phase. It was a fad. It didn't last.
Yeah,
right?
It didn't.
It was a period of time, and now the scene is gone. I think the scene is as good as it was. Maybe not as good as it was in the 80s, but it's back. It's definitely back.
Yeah, it's gotten weird because, like, it's splintered so many times. Like, I don't even know if there is like a scene as much as there are like 1,000 different scenes. It's more what it feels like.
There's definitely 1,000 different scenes. You can see it in just like the bookings that a lot of these bands do. Like, you see two bands, you're like, I would not have thought of those two like touring with each other.
Yeah.
Which is why you will never get a band as big as Maiden and Metallica, because it's
saturated. It's very saturated now.
No one is listening to all the same things. Like, we will do this throughout our journey on this podcast. We'll mention bands that none of the others have even heard of, and we're like, "Oh my god, they're fucking,
right?
They're huge. What are you talking about? You don't know."
Like, who's the last like metal band that you could say is like, "Oh, it's amazing"? Like, how long ago were they from?
Well,
besides Master Sword.
Of course.
Wait, there are other bands?
No. Okay, let's rephrase that, because there are amazing bands. I'm not saying that metal is shit now. What I'm saying is there's no band that everyone knows and agrees on.
Yeah.
As easily.
Since what?
Well, since the early 2000s.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a long time.
Slipknot's probably the biggest current. No, they're not current. That's what I mean.
But I'm saying, like, that's the most current popular band. Metal.
Or Avenged Sevenfold, maybe.
Yeah, they were big.
But that was the same time. That was around the same era, kind of.
Yeah, it's harder now. Metal has gone underground, and
again,
which is where it belongs. Let's be honest. It's not music that's meant to appeal to the mainstream. It's not.
No, not. Unless you're Metallica, then you appeal to the mainstream.
Yeah, but they changed their style.
Yeah, they were briefly they did, and then
Okay. Shall
All
we? Okay, we've gone way off. We've gone off on so many fucking tangents. We've been talking about Linkin
Everything
Park.
else.
We've been talking about Linkin
Yeah,
Park.
people came here for Linkin Park talk, obviously.
Obviously.
It's like we're going to review Powerslave and Ride the Lightning, but
Let's talk about Linkin Park first.
now, so let's open with: Were Linkin Park the biggest influence on these songs? They weren't. Okay, let's start with Maiden. We're going to go through Powerslave, track by track. I'm sure people listening know all of these songs. If you don't,
If you haven't, pause and go listen to these albums. They're fucking amazing. And then come back and then you understand what we're kind of coming from.
or even don't come back. Just listen to
Yeah,
this.
just
stop
never,
listening to our
never
podcast.
listen again.
Iron Maiden. This is Powerslave.
Yeah,
Well,
it
at
is.
this time, they were already pretty established. This is their 5th album. They have a pretty good pedigree under their belt. They already had Number of the Beast under their belt, and they had Peace of Mind, which is amazing as well.
Great
And at the
album.
time on that year, I think it was like in the top 20 in the USA, which is pretty big.
That's
for,
pretty. Yeah, that's definitely big for a metal band.
for in the 1980s.
And that's
for
on like
a band from
billboards,
the UK
right?
To come to this, from like billboards,
Okay.
Billboard 200.
So it wasn't like a specific like a hard rock metal chart. It was
Oh.
like just a pop chart.
Billboard 200.
Yeah,
It
just
was-
in terms of everything.
That's
That-
incredible. You'll
that's
never
insane.
see that nowadays with
That's
a new
insane.
album.
A Maiden, an old man's band. The kids still listen to Maiden.
Kids still listen to me.
I mean, you sound like an old man right now. So
So,
Dude,
wait.
We're getting old now.
We're,
okay?
we're getting old, but we're not that old. However, I think that Maiden is very listenable for younger people.
It's a style of metal that's.
I think it's a
not really
style
that
that's-
popular anymore.
It's not that popular, but I think it's easy to digest.
yeah,
I think it's-
absolutely. And like, if you listen to modern power metal, like it's not that far removed from Iron
That's
Maiden.
true.
Like if you're picking one genre that kind of came from what they were doing, it's power metal.
Absolutely,
Yeah, definitely,
But
definitely.
I mean, yeah. Look, I'm probably the biggest power metal fan here, but it's not a big. Genre.
Are you in a band that's power metal?
Yeah, that's true.
Granted, it's like an argument within the band. Like, are we power metal or are we prog metal? Like half the band is in one camp and half whatever.
They're barely split amongst each other. I mean,
I-
there's a fucking festival called Prague Power USA.
Yeah, it's a bit of both.
Like it's very hard to distinguish both of them from.
I disagree. There are very distinct
Except for a few
differences.
things that people like you would be able to be like, oh yeah,
But
because like
this is why Maiden are such a awesome fucking band, because they are prog power, right? They
Yeah,
hit
they-
both those things.
They're the proggiest metal band of their time period.
Yeah.
hardcore, and that's why.
Well,
They're
Metallica is actually much proggier than people think. Like their time signature changes are crazy. You don't notice them though.
Yeah, and Justice for All especially was that was their most proggy thing, I think. They did.
Hardcore.
Yeah. But yeah, Maiden. So I've met people who don't like the vocal style of Iron Maiden or power metal in general. Like,
Yeah, well, with Maiden specifically, I do find the vocalists I know specifically really don't like Bruce. I think they mention his vibrato a lot. They don't
It's
like.
a niche thing. I think I can understand it.
it's
I
not the-
disagree. but-
Yeah. I think it's the style of that. Yeah, like you say, power metal embraced that fully. And it wasn't just Bruce, but like there was Dio and Rob Halford as well. But like people like the sort of mainstream metal of now does not sound like Iron Maiden.
No,
No.
definitely not.
So
No.
I mean, people who aren't like fucking nerds like us, who like know all about the older stuff,
Exactly.
they hear Iron Maiden, they think, it's kind of old sounding. It's not.
I don't know about old sounding. Like some of the stuff is pretty progressive in terms of like the time that it came out.
Well, yeah, but it is. I'll tell you, from an engineering point of view, both of these albums sound very dated.
Oh, definitely. They're. I mean, obviously
Now-
they've shown their age.
One of them sounds more dated than the other. I will put that out there.
Yeah. But anyway,
I can only imagine which one that you're talking about.
right. Yes. All right. Iron Maiden Powerslave is the first album we're doing. It's not a concept album, but it feels like one. Do you agree?
No.
It's not.
Next question.
Yeah.
Parts of
you.
it can be part of a concept, but not the whole thing.
Their next. Okay, I would give that thing to the next album, which was Somewhere in Time, right?
Yeah.
That was
That's
not
definitely a concept.
no, it's not though. It's not.
Oh, no.
But it does
Seven's
feel
on-
like one. That's
Yeah,
the
I was gonna
concept
say.
album. That's the concept album. But Somewhere in Time feels like one, but isn't. But this one, I don't know if I agree. I don't
But why,
think it feels like one.
Okay, so what is the concept album then?
It's normally like an album that is centered around a concept. Believe it or not.
It's an album where all of the songs link into one story.
Sure, yeah, I get what
But the
you're saying.
thing is that there's no air raids in Egypt.
No, but what I'm saying is, all right, if you go back and listen to this, I said it's not a concept album, but it feels like one.
It is a cohesive album. I'll give you that.
I mean, the kind of middle tracks all kind of flow, except, I mean, there's an instrumental, but the three in the middle all kind of flow, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
sort of. Yeah, definitely.
But anyway, that's not where we're starting. We're starting with Aces High, which is the first song of the album.
Fantastic song.
Yeah.
God.
One of their best
So-
openers, I think.
All right. So this is a song about planes, obviously. Matt, is it your favorite Iron Maiden song about planes?
For being that specific, I suppose so. I'm trying to think of other ones. I mean, I know Bruce. Well, Bruce didn't even write this one,
No,
but he loves planes.
he does love his planes. The only
Not,
thing,
this-
not War Pigs. Not War Pigs.
Oh my god, this was a Steve Harris written song.
yeah.
Who likes writing about war? But
Right. The newest album, didn't that have like an 18-minute song about planes?
let's
or
not talk
something?
about that one, please. that album I have so many issues with.
Yeah, we're not going to get to that on the melee anytime soon, so I think that's fine. Yeah, I mean, fucking Aces High, right? It's one of the best intro songs.
They used that as their live intro for a long time.
You know what I think would make this album just even better is if they had that Churchill speech at the start.
Yeah,
Like, if they did like a little snippet of that first, because that just pumps you up so much. Whenever they play this live, they do that. We will fight them on the beaches, whatever. It's so epic. It's so good.
it is. Yeah,
I personally have this listed as my favorite song of the album.
really.
Yes, I think it's a fucking fantastic.
No, I mean I can't
good-
judge you on that. It's a great song, but it's
a
not my
great way
favorite.
It's a great way to set the tempo of this album, and that's why I like it so much. Because there's a lot of other albums that their intro is great, but I just feel like the energy and the just
It has
pounding
a
in your
lot
face of
energy.
this. It's just
Yeah.
so good.
It's
so
one of
good.
the few Maiden songs where you would want to jump into a pit. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
it's got that hype factor. Because
Yes.
most Maiden are more like a jumping up and down band for me. Like, it's like you want to sing along, you want to hold hands, or want to hold like.
I don't know about
grab each
holding
other's-
hands,
Sing Kumbaya.
especially in 2021. I don't know about that.
No, you want to grab each other by the shoulder and jump up and down, right? It's that kind of band. It's not
Yeah,
like
This one is just like
this song
fucking
is like
create that circle
go.
and let's go, boys.
Musically, it's pretty interesting because I don't know if I've heard another Maiden song that's quite like it. The chord progression during, I guess what you'd say was the verse, it's like all over the place, and the vocal melody kind of follows it. So I'm wondering if like the guitars are just following the vocal melody, or whether it was written on guitar.
Look at the musician bringing in his 2 cents in this song.
I'm just saying, like I've always been
that's what we
interested in
want,
this
though.
song
Yeah.
specifically
I like-
because of how weirdly it's written. To be honest.
yeah. Listen,
Very
Matt,
weirdly written, but fuck did it hit.
Oh yeah.
This is why we need Matt on this podcast, because he's going to bring that kind of insight. 'Cause I was just going to say, yeah, it's a fucking killer song. Yeah, the harmonies, of the
Chord
guitar-
progressions, though, we need
Oh
that.
yeah, the chord progression.
No, it jumps around a lot. Like it's kind of strange, but it works so well. I
Someone
love
like
this
you
song.
with a finely tuned ear, though, you notice that stuff. Us, we're just like, I want to fucking go in the pit
No,
and
I mean-
just cause some havoc.
Listen, this is part of what I like about this podcast is that we're going to get a reason of why we like the song so much, because this is the elements that make the song, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fucking.
And
awesome.
anyways, the chord progression follows the vocal melody pretty much exactly, and it's a very like,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I like it a lot, but it's unique.
Yeah. Also, the chorus is fucking singable. Like, it's probably one of their most fun choruses to sing.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Period. Like, this is. Oh man, this song is so good.
And you know that like half the audience that are there that are singing along with it, their voices are cracking because they can't keep up.
Oh yeah, no one can sing like Bruce, but like you give it a go. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And
Definitely.
I like the guitar solo as well. The way it starts off, especially, is sick. So
Oh yeah,
Can't
like
really-
Iron Maiden guitar solos are the shit.
yeah.
Oh, so good.
Are you able to tell the difference between? So who's on this album? It's Adrian Smith and Dave Murray,
Yeah.
right? There's two guitarists.
Yeah, I can tell the difference. They approach it pretty differently. Adrian Smith is very proggy in how he writes his lines.
Right.
A little bit more experimental. Dave Murray loves like those kind of trills and like he's a bit more stereotypical. Not that he's bad; he's very good. But it's like, yeah, Adrian is a bit more melodic too, a bit more interesting to musicians. I feel like and I've talked to other musicians about this, other guitarists, and they kind of express the same sentiment.
Which is why, like 2090s Maiden, they both left, didn't they? Bruce and Adrian left the band at some point.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was part of the reason why they fell off a bit.
Yeah, because Adrian wrote at the start. He didn't write a lot of the music, but like as they went along, he started writing more and more. He wrote 2 Minutes to Midnight with Bruce.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's our next song. So 2 Minutes to Midnight.
Another
Adrian Smith
amazing
and
song.
Dickinson. This is a song about an evil clock.
Evil Clock.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's about nuclear holocaust, but
this is some of their best lyrics in my opinion.
yeah.
This song is fucking brutal. Like the lyrics to this song are brutal. Like, and this is their most commercial song. Like we were saying earlier, this is probably one of.
I don't know if I agree with that. Honestly, like I feel like
Album?
on this album, yes, but not
That's what we're
like in
talking
general.
about.
Okay, whatever.
I mean, everyone knows. I mean, if you play 2 Minutes to Midnight to somebody who's not a metalhead, they would sing along to that chorus.
Right, but you could also play The Trooper. You could also play Number of the Beast, and possibly Run to the Hills. And I feel like those
True.
four.
yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Rival
That's
it.
true. But yeah, this song is great.
It
A
is.
I love
fantastic
this
song.
All right, next song.
Although surprisingly, I have this song number 4 on my list.
That's
Okay.
kind of low.
I mean, I would hope the top 4 are the same for everyone. but
They are going to be for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Corey, you gonna throw us something
Hot
weird?
takes.
Corey.
Get your hot takes.
I'll wait till
I might surprise you guys.
I'll wait till we go through all the songs, but I definitely have an opinion about this album as a whole that I want to bring
Okay.
up.
All right, you know what? I'll wait. I'll hold off my rankings until
Yeah.
Okay.
after the album.
Yeah, this song is great. I mean, Bruce sounds amazing on it as well. Like you can tell when a Bruce song is a Bruce song, right? And this is definitely one of those. Like, it is.
Definitely.
Yeah, he wrote the vocal line for sure.
Yeah, I love this song. This is great. Okay, so shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
You didn't. Okay.
Do you want to say? No, talk. Let's.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say about this song. Like, yeah, it's one of their more commercial songs, especially on this album.
It's
But
still brutal. It's still amazing. Like,
No, it's a fantastic song.
all right.
yeah, next.
Yeah. Okay. Lost for Words, which is the.
This is actually a really good song.
It is.
It's an amazing song.
I mean, it's an
actually.
instrumental, so obviously no one's going to really choose it as like their favorite song. But
Sure.
Definitely not.
But
I don't know. I don't.
Um,
Sorry.
So I was going to say, I read in an interview, Bruce said that basically they ran out of lyrics. Like the way they do albums is they come up with the lyrics all in one go, and they were just like they couldn't think of any lyrics for this song. Then they just decided that it didn't need any. So, I mean, do you agree?
It's a great song, though. It could have easily gone with Aces High because they had a few riffs where it just kind of sounded like.
Yeah, that's a Steve Harris song, right?
Yeah, definitely. So you can hear it in that.
Did we lose Venom? Or is he just really happy?
The
Yeah.
picture wonder that it froze out.
You had the biggest smile on your face. I'm like, he's really enjoying this song, I guess.
My Zoom just completely crashed as soon as you started talking about this song.
Yeah, let's start over at this song.
Okay. All right. So next is Lost for Words, which is obviously lost for words. I don't have any words to say.
It's such an appropriate name too.
I think they came up with the name because we don't have any lyrics.
A bit of a
so
joke.
I don't know what Big Aura means. It's some Cockney slang, I guess.
I think it was something Nico said.
Yeah, it's definitely like East London shit.
Yeah. I mean, this is a good song. Honestly, outside of what people would consider the big four of this album, and it's going to be the same on everyone's list, I'm sure. Maybe Corey might have a different opinion, but like for most Maiden fans, 4 of these songs stand above the rest.
I think as we go on with this podcast, people are going to realize that Corey's opinion doesn't really.
Yeah. No, we certainly don't give a shit about it.
It's not that I don't agree that the Big Four is good, because I know what the Big Four is, but there's one song that I just like really liked.
Okay, I look forward to arguing with you about it. But for this one, this is actually after the Big Four. This is probably my 5th favorite song on this album. It's a really dynamic song, and I know Iron Maiden aren't typically known for instrumental songs, so this one's kind of an odd duck, I guess. But I enjoy it quite a bit. I wouldn't put it on the same level as to me, Rush. If you're talking about bands that can do instrumental songs really well, they're hands down the best band for instrumental songs.
I would agree with that. I would agree.
Really fucking good.
I don't listen to a lot of that kind of music, but Rush, they definitely connect without any lyrics. It's crazy.
So this is it's good, but I could see it having lyrics and vocals and it possibly improving the song, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're all the same. I don't like instrumentals as much as singing songs with vocals. That is probably an obvious
let's
thing
calm down. Let's not say that we're not all like that. You're the only one that doesn't like. I enjoy a good instrumental.
Sure,
it's just that when you're including voices with it, it makes them better.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's but this song is good. Yeah, I like it a lot as well. It's it feels like an Iron Maiden jam session. It's just they're just rocking out on this album. The thing about this album is the groove never dies away. There's no duds. It's a full album of good songs, at least good. There's one that I'm not too keen on, but yeah, and this song is sort of the intro to these next 3 songs. So the next song is Flash of the Blade. So this was written by Bruce Dickinson.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's of Dickinson.
It's got a very clear story throughout it, and this is what I love about Maiden. When Maiden at their best, they tell stories. They always take you to a place or a time, and this song does that kind of.
Well, I feel especially with Dickinson, when he's involved in it, there's this little small underlying story, and then if he's involved in the next song, there's a story that continues with it. He's really good at doing that.
Yeah.
Together.
That's what he likes doing. That's his thing, isn't it? But this song is. So we were talking earlier about how Iron Maiden were a huge influence on power metal. This song is the kind of thing that I think of with that.
The thing that really hits me with this song is the vocals in the chorus.
Yeah, the chorus is great.
Oh,
it gives me
so good.
Because I'm a huge power metal fan. This song definitely hits the power metal.
This is definitely something that you see on stage, and he's running with his flag and just going left and right from both sides of the stage. You're how's this motherfucker still running? Yeah. I'm tired watching his ass run.
He's got so much energy.
Such a great energy.
Crazy.
I do feel like this is a weak song though, overall.
Yeah, I mean,
this is not what you'd play for someone new to Iron Maiden.
Well, that's not what we're asking about.
I think it's important to bring up, though.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't give this to someone to listen to Maiden. That's for sure.
It's a straightforward song, but like I say, I'm a big power metal fan, so I kind of like this kind of shit. But it definitely gives me strong Halloween vibes. It's got that kind
of.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not. Well, yeah, I'm not huge into Halloween, so maybe that is part of the reason.
I'm saying that. Yeah,
should tell us where Matt's coming from on this whole argument.
Oh yeah, I would. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I remember I told Matt, "Oh yeah, I love Halloween," and he's like, "they're too European." It's like, all right.
Why the fuck you listening to Iron Maiden?
Okay, well, I'm big into British bands. I feel like they kind of straddle European and American styles.
But they're too European, but they're not British enough.
I love British bands. Like, I think they kind of hit the perfect spot for me personally.
Right. I'll tell everyone.
Yeah, I know you're friends with everyone from Britain, so.
I mean, this is a great starting episode, right? Because we got the biggest British metal band against the biggest American metal band, so it's like
yeah, definitely
two styles. Yeah, I agree. This song, I love it. It was super catchy. I got it stuck in my head for a while this week, but it is kind of basic, I guess. So the next song is "The Duelist." It's obviously a song about dueling.
Honestly, I don't remember this song, and I listened to this album this week.
Wait, how many times did you listen to this album?
I guess not enough because I don't remember this one.
This one's great.
What's the chorus?
You see, I've actually wrote in my notes that the instrumental section is great. I love the kind of quiet, palm muting bit before the solos and stuff. That's cool. But yeah, everything else is just kind of forgettable. It's like, whatever.
It's definitely my bottom 3 songs in the album. It's the more forgettable one of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think the solos are great. Like
the music in it is great, but it's just like we're talking about which one did stick with us the most, and that one did not.
I cannot think of a single part of this song. I'm trying really hard.
This is not the show, Matt. You're supposed to know these things. But fine. All right, we'll move on from The Duelist. It's not. Whatever.
Should I sing it? Should I sing it real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, fight for the honor.
Okay.
Fight for the splendor.
Yeah. Okay, I remember it now. But
pleasure.
Okay, you said you
That's a good. It's not that bad, but it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's not a really memorable.
I feel like
Iron. You're gonna be like, oh, you gotta listen to The Duelist.
Yeah. No, I feel like Iron Maiden has a lot of songs like this that are just kind of like, that's a song they did.
That's an Iron Maiden song for sure.
I don't know. I disagree. I think it keeps you in the groove. All these songs, I never got bored through this album personally, but
okay.
It definitely plays off of Flash of the Blade, though.
I get them confused. I cannot tell these two songs apart.
Really? Because I think there's a big difference.
Corey, do you want to sing Flash of the Blade as well, or do you want to leave?
No, I know Flash of the Blade. I'm just saying, these two blend into each other, and I honestly don't care about either one, if I'm being honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is.
I don't know, man. This is where my hot take's gonna come in, and you guys are gonna.
Oh, is the next song the one that?
No. It's. I told you I was gonna wait until the end.
Okay.
Okay, but you said you had a controversial opinion about one of these songs that you like a lot. Yeah. Which one is it?
You'll see when we get to the end of this.
Have we talked about it yet?
Yes, we have.
Then why didn't you just mention it?
Because Flash of the Blade is really fucking good. It's a good damn song. That's a fucking great song, actually. It's number 2 on my list.
Jesus.
Oh my god!
I think it's fucking great.
Okay. All right.
Listen, you guys are gonna hate me for it, but the next song,
not just us.
The next, yeah, I know, right? The next song we're gonna cover is my last song. That's my last song.
I'm not going to defend this song either. It has a very, very busy chorus that does not sound great. But
let's get into it. Back in the Village.
All right, Back in the Village.
Not a good song.
It's another song about. It's another song about planes, by the way. If you read the lyrics.
Oh, really?
About planes, yeah. So we got two. We got
snuck it in there.
So I like how their cover album was Egyptian, but they're talking about planes more than anything.
Yeah.
They should just name the album Planes.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
Power planes.
So I actually put in my notes the weakest song of the album.
Easily the weakest song. Easily, even after the instrumental.
I don't know. I'm not going to disagree, but I feel like all 3 of these songs are not great for me.
But
they're fine. I like them all, but this song just, I mean. The chorus, singing Back in the Village is not fun.
No.
I don't know.
What village is this?
No. To be honest with you, when I was thinking about it and I was listening to this, I'm thinking, I feel like a fucking nerd singing this.
This is all
Back
fucking.
in the village. Like, come on.
But then again, you said Flash of the Blade was one of your favorite songs, and it's
But
like,
no, it's
as
a
young
great
boy
song.
chasing dragons.
But
It's
that's
like,
a good song.
Yeah, but
that's
the
that's a hype song, though. There's no hype behind Back in the Village.
listen. I like Flash of the Blade too, but the lyrics are fucking D&D. It's
And that's fine. That's fine with me. The chorus is hype as fuck. It gets you into it.
agreed.
But not Back in the Village.
Yeah, I forgot the chorus. I was thinking of the end when I said it was real busy. Because the end sucks too.
Well, the thing is, like, he says "back in the village" so many fucking times throughout this whole.
But then he like doubles it up at the end. And he's just like, back in the village, back in the village, back in the village.
That's the best thing.
I got,
Back in the village and back in the village. It's like,
got it,
Bruce,
you
did
know.
you forget words? Like, did you forget something?
but what's great about the ending is, like, I had in my head an image of, like, he was kept saying "back in the village," so they were like, "Get away from the fucking microphone." And he was just like, he just like breaks free.
He's like holding on to it, like,
back in the
back in the village, oh, back in the village, oh, back in the village, again.
He got in some kind of trance. He got in some kind of trance where he couldn't stop saying "back in the village."
Okay, so I love Bruce, but he does do this sometimes with choruses where he just repeats the same thing over and over, like the same like one line, and that's the whole chorus. He doesn't build it out.
That's just because he's senile and he forgot where he was.
He wasn't in 1984. He wasn't senile.
But it's a choice, and it's not a bad choice. I just like feel like he could be a bit more creative with some of the choruses he does in this band.
Yeah.
We can all agree that that's definitely the weakest song in the album. It's
it's
not
up
a
there.
good song.
Just I like most of it except the chorus. The chorus is just kind of lame, but the rest is fine. I like the rest. All right. Shit's about to get real now because
this is where the hot take comes in.
The end of this album is insane.
Yeah, it is. And it's like, we haven't talked about Metallica yet, but the end of this album is what makes the whole album to me like compete with Ride the Lightning.
Yeah. It bookends it.
Yeah.
Like so.
Well, Powerslave. Powerslave is my favorite song on this album by far. I love it a lot.
Yep.
Agreed.
Really? It's your favorite?
Yeah, it's my favorite song of this
number
album.
5 for me.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Listen, I love their epics. So Rime of the Ancient Mariner is number 3 for me, and I absolutely love all their epics.
Sure.
And I think none of them miss. And that one is one of those that just like hits home for me. It's so good because I love a good long song that can keep me interested.
We're not even talking about that song.
I know,
yet.
but that's why Powerslave is number 5 because I love 2 Minutes to Midnight. It's very hype. It's very good.
Okay, like
hype songs.
for Powerslave, I really like Exotic Scales, and maybe it's the guitarist in me, but like what they do with this song is very cool, and you don't hear it very often from many bands. Like it's very Egyptian. Like they captured the feel of Egypt so perfectly.
Which is crazy because, like, how do you do that, first of all? But, like, the lyrics and the music, like, merge so perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, how can you beat that?
It doesn't even really sound like Bruce Dickinson singing it. He takes on this character of, like, an ancient pharaoh. It's amazing.
Oh, man. Bruce fucking Dickinson, man. Like, if he did not find music in Iron Maiden, he would be doing some weird, like, art house one-man show.
He might be doing theater or something.
Yeah,
or just flying his plane. I don't know.
Some fucking Andy Warhol shit.
I mean, I think this is like the birth of his plane shit with all these songs about planes. But yeah, he is so theatrical. Like, have you ever seen this live? Like, he puts on like a whole costume.
Yeah,
he's,
it's
like,
great.
doing all these dancing and stuff. Yeah, his voice is killer in this song. This song, I don't understand how this could be number 5.
It's just like. The other songs just get me hype. I'm someone that likes the momentum a little bit.
How can you not get hyped with that intro? Like it's just so cool sounding. I don't know.
Yeah,
I loved Ace's High so much more. Yeah. And I thought that was such a great opening to kind of to send you into.
I'm not saying Aces High is bad. I'm just saying, like, I really like this song.
I'm saying that I liked Aces High more, though.
Is that your number one?
Yeah, Aces High was my number one.
Okay.
I can respect. I mean,
Yeah, no one's going to say, like, you're a fucking asshole or you're.
I mean, I don't mind you saying I'm a fucking ass.
I'll say it for other reasons, but.
Yeah, like people in the comments might say that I'm a fucking asshole.
Look, I like a hype song as much as anyone, but this song is something else. This is like, this song. It's like.
It is.
I've never heard a song like this.
It's very proggy.
Again,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Powerslave is bad. Like, it's not that at all. Like, don't get it twisted. I love Powerslave. It just happens to be number 5 of 8.
Okay. I come from a very like theatrical mindset when it comes to music. I love songs that tell a story, that kind of set an atmosphere. And the fact that they can do that without, they don't really use many other instruments besides, your standard metal instruments. Like, you're not getting a lot of keyboard textures, you're not getting a lot of like exotic instruments, but they capture the feeling of ancient Egypt so well.
Which
It's
is why, like,
amazing.
So me and you, Matt, right? I'm not that into prog metal, but we both seem to vibe with this song like almost identically. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, if we get around to doing like a Dream Theater album or something. I'm looking forward to like seeing maybe I can get more into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song. I mean, oh man, this song. Like I'll be honest, I haven't listened to Maiden a lot in the last sort of 10 years, but I came back to this album. And like Powerslave is just, it's beautiful. Yeah. And like the riffs, the guitar riff at the start is killer.
Oh, that instrumental section in the middle, how it slows down and then builds back up. Like, that's just, it's so epic.
When they hit back into the main riff as well, after the solo.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And the ending is cool as well, with the kind of like Egyptian, like slow down thing. It's cool. Yeah. Yeah, you can't beat it.
Yeah, I'm a little distracted by Corey's ringtone there, but
Sorry.
Yeah, come on, this is very
Trying to get that off.
I know we're trying to be pro here.
Well,
yeah.
Nah,
But
I'm kidding, but
I would say this. You can definitely tell the difference between the solos of the guitar solos in Maiden and Metallica as well. Like this song is way more beautiful than like any solo I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, I love Kirk Hammett, but a lot of his solos do sound a little similar to each other.
Yeah. We'll get into Cook. I've got things to say about him. All right. So in like a normal, if you had finished with Powerslave as an album, you got a great fucking album. This is Iron Maiden. This is Powerslave. So we're gonna do a 13-minute epic about a poem.
Yeah. About semen.
About semen. So this is Rime of the Ancient Mariner, written all by Steve Harris, apparently. It's based on a Samuel Taylor Coleridge poem. So,
I just want one more thing about Powerslave before we get too much into this.
All right.
That's written by Bruce Dickinson completely, as far as I can tell, which surprises the hell out of me, considering how interesting the instrumental side of things are for that one.
Yeah.
Like, I would not have guessed, but I know he plays guitar, but I always assumed it was kind of like, plays a bit of guitar, not like he puts such a focus on that side of it.
Sure. When he did his like solo stuff, was he the main composer of everything in that? Or?
I assume so, but I haven't heard honestly much of his solo stuff, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We didn't touch on the lyrics too much with Powerslave, but the lyrics are awesome as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can tell he had something to say with this song.
Yeah, he was definitely inspired.
Oh yeah, he's pissed off with someone. I don't know who, but yeah.
Okay,
anyway.
we can move on now.
All right.
All right.
Rime of the Ancient Mariner. All right, let's go. This song is pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's going to argue that.
It's my number 3. It's my number 3 in the album.
I love this song. Go on, Corey. What do you got to say?
I just love how it can just tell the entire story in just 13 minutes while also getting you just so sucked into like the world of it. They did such a great job getting you immersed, and it's so fucking great.
Which is why it's funny that you don't rate Powerslave.
Because like I said, Powerslave would be in it if it wasn't for Flash to the Blade. I love that. That's the only thing.
That doesn't. You made Powerslave number 5, so there was a few other songs.
No, 2 Minutes to Midnight was number 4, which I think is justified. It's a fucking great song.
Yeah.
I would say I would say 2 Minutes to Midnight and Powerslave are interchangeable. Like it could have gone the other way.
Okay. I mean, it's fair enough.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
2 Minutes to Midnight's a little bit more hype. I think Powerslave's fucking amazing.
I think honestly, Powerslave. I mean, I could just keep fucking talking about Powerslave, but the main riff for Powerslave is just genius.
No,
It's so like get caught in your head.
I completely
need
understand why you guys put Powerslave number 1. I completely understand it. I think it's fucking great too. But it's just like for me, someone who likes a little bit more energy, a little bit more hype. Like Aces High was great, Flash of the Blade was great. They both had amazing choruses that were just like fast, high energy. I just loved it. And then Rime of the Ancient Mariner is a little bit different because it's obviously like it's so weird because if you were to make a CD, 1 through 7 would be its own CD, and then Rime of the Ancient Mariner would be its own little song, like its own CD, because it's just, I don't know, it's just so different.
Yeah.
It's just like everything, because this is their 5th album, and I think this is their second time doing like a big epic after, like at the very end of their album.
Well, it depends what you define as an epic, but this is their first of this length.
Yeah, this is a long
because
song.
Was it Hollow Be My Name was like what, 9 minutes long?
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't
so
that long.
no,
Like 8,
yeah,
maybe 8.
it's significantly less long than this one.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then Pieces of Mind had
Tame of Land was the last song on that one. That was like 7 or 8 minutes. So that's a great song as well. I love that song.
Yeah,
That's got that also hits.
But yeah,
the
this
kind
was
of
definitely the first of its like being that long.
But anyway, we're
But
talking
it was
about Rime of the
so
Ancient
But it's such a great song for being 13 minutes and for it to be able to keep your attention the entire time. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
Because especially like, I don't know how metalheads usually are, but for me, sometimes it's better to be shorter and just get to the point. And just like fast, get it going. 4, maybe 5 minutes long, but for a 13-minute long song to keep me like engaged and invested, that's pretty damn good.
They go through a lot of different sections in this song, and I think that's what keeps it interesting because they change it up quite a bit.
Yeah, it sounds like different songs at some point.
Yeah, but they all they tie into the theme really well, especially that middle section with kind of the sound effects they do. Just really gives you the feeling of being on like a ship.
Yeah. This again, like Powerslave, this song takes you on a ship. It's
yes,
like
this is it's a very theatrical song as well.
Yeah. And it's again Bruce Dickinson doing his fucking theatrical stuff. Like, I mean, he didn't even write this, but like, it just shows you how much of a in sync they were. That Steve Harris was like, Bruce is going to kill this one. Like, he's like, he knew what he could do. But yeah, this song is great. I love the guitars. It sounds really jaunty. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like you want to dance.
It's like a sea shanty a little bit.
Yeah. And then like you say, that kind of haunting bit where it goes really quiet for like 2 fucking minutes. By the way.
Yeah, and I think most of those sound effects they actually did with their guitars.
That's crazy.
The
creaking sound and stuff.
I think so. I think that's them playing with their whammy bars.
That's crazy.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the way it builds back up to the music, like so when every time I listen to this song, I'm like, 13 minutes. Like I'm with you, Corey. I don't like songs that are this long.
Oh, I'm all about it, but I'm a prog guy, so like 13 minutes is nothing.
But the thing is, if it's a song that long and it can keep me invested, that to me is just so impressive because it's just they're not repeating themselves that much.
Sure.
They're kind of changing it up a little bit and giving you another different part of the tale.
But also
because
like
most songs are usually just one story within, that span of time. But this is just, I mean, Rime of the Ancient Mariner was able to just last that long. That's fucking great. And the fact that Bruce Dickinson was able to really convey that in the way that he did, it was just amazing.
But what I love, like, so every time I listen to the song, I'm always like, that bit where it like all the instruments stop and they just do the narration and then the long build up to getting back to music. It sets the mood perfectly. And every time I'm like, okay, it goes on a bit too long, but the payoff is just so good that I don't care.
Live, this one's really cool. Just especially like they have all the smoke and like they have fireworks during the solo. It's one of the coolest live songs in my opinion.
Oh man, I remember listening to this song so much when I was younger, and I would always like take it back to the part where he screams and then the guitars come in.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
So I may have a little bit of a bias with this because back when I had albums, back when albums were a thing,
Yeah.
I would burn my albums to my hard drive and then upload them to my MP3 player.
Oh,
Well,
I forgot what burning was. I thought you actually like literally burned it, for Jesus or something.
Burn them into my PC and then upload them into my MP3 player. Unfortunately, for some weird reason, all of Iron Maiden's albums, the last track never would burn. And I never understood why. Still don't know why. But so that means I got to lose out in all the epics from all the. So I didn't get Hollow Be Thy Name.
Oh my God.
Rime of the Ancient Mariner.
Did you have some like haunted fucking burner?
I don't know. But for some reason, those songs wouldn't burn out, and I wouldn't be able to listen to them. So like now that I get to listen to them more often because of Spotify, I'm like, fuck yeah, I love this song because it's new shit to me. So maybe there's a bias in that.
Yeah.
But fucking.
No, this song's great. Let's just do a quick conclusion of this album in itself before we like say if we prefer it or whatever. Is it Maiden's best album? Would you say?
I don't think so.
I think so, but only because of the 4 songs that I really like on this song album.
I don't think so, only because there's another album that I might have a bias towards.
Which, yeah, you can tell us. We're not going to wait.
Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
I don't agree.
There's a lot of things I love about that entire album.
No, it's a good album, but the 4 songs on Powerslave that are their best songs like ever, in my opinion. They're like the peak of Maiden.
It's almost everything about Maiden in those 4 songs. Like it gives you the whole range of Maiden.
But like I said, this is all about opinion. I'm not saying like, oh, it's the best album. It's just I enjoyed that album more than I did Powerslave.
Sure,
but
that's fine.
Fair. Yeah.
And it might be because I kind of like hook certain memories to these albums.
I mean, nostalgia plays a part in definitely in all of life, so that's fine. But and also,
as a kid in his teens, I listened to albums while I played video games, and there's some songs that stick to my head and make me remember me playing those video games.
Yeah, of course.
And our Seventh Son of Seventh Son reminds me of one certain video game that I absolutely love.
Is it a fucking Mario game?
No, it's not actually. It's a game whose sequel is coming out pretty soon.
What is it?
Why
are you so secretive? We're on the podcast now. You don't need to hold back.
We're not going to do it.
Save it for the podcast. Save it for the podcast. No, it's Psychonauts.
Okay.
Which most people don't even know what the fuck that is. But
I know what it is. I just never played it.
Go play it. It's fucking great.
So you were listening to Seventh Son of a Seventh Son while...
Strangely enough, yes.
That's what got you.
I know it's a strange album to listen to while you're playing a fucking video game, but it was a great album.
That's good. But anyway, Powerslave.
So Powerslave, fucking great.
All right, yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's my favorite Maiden album. Even the ones that I haven't heard. It's got 4. Yeah, it's got 4 Maiden songs on it that sum them up for me. It's got the epic, it's got the commercial side of it, it's got the hype side of it, and it's got the storytelling.
Yeah,
fucking awesome. And and the way that the thing is, because they bookend the album, it rounds it all off.
Yeah, I do find myself skipping the middle of the album quite a bit, though.
Yeah.
If I don't have time to listen to the whole thing, I will.
So you listen to Aces High, 2 Minutes of Midnight, then go straight to Powerslave.
Pretty much, yes.
I think everyone does. Let's be honest.
Listen, I loved Flash of the Blade. I'm gonna die on that hill.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die on that hill. I might die, but I'm gonna die on that.
Sorry,
hill.
As long as you die with your boots on.
Yeah, well, there you go.
My boots on.
Okay, that's the end of Powerslave.